Welcome to Alley 55 Customs. Today I'm going to show you how to change out your alternator. All that an alternator does, it charges your battery. It is just a battery charger. And if your battery is dead, you find yourself stuck on the side of the road somewhere, in a parking lot, whatever, 10 to 1 odds, it's probably your battery. So go ahead and check that first. If the battery is brand new and you still are having that same symptom where you're finding yourself on the side of a road somewhere, and the engine's not cranking because the battery's dead, it's not charging your battery. So your alternator will be what is at fault. So go ahead and change out your alternator. They're not too expensive. The other thing too is this one's inline, so it's going to be an inline motor, where the other ones are transverse. They'll sit sideways. And if you have a transverse motor, your alternator will be up front here. Will be basically on the passenger side of your vehicle. And so let's get underway. So first thing that you want to do is you're going to disconnect one of the 2 battery terminals. The cables run up to the terminal itself. You're going to just take one of them off. Another thing too, before you get too far into it, you want to open up your new alternator that you're putting in. Make sure that it is the exact one. This is the second one I had to order because the first one that came in actually was the wrong one. And so the worst feeling is to get everything torn down and pulled out, and then you find that it's the wrong alternator or the wrong part. And guess what? You're going to put it back together because you need to drive the thing, and you're reordering another alternator. So go ahead and double check that, make sure that the alternator is the correct one. Okay, so once you removed your battery cable, disconnected it just for safety reasons, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take off your serpentine belt. That way we can get to your alternator. And so what you're going to do is there is a belt tensioner right down below here on the front of your motor, and it's pretty much the same on any vehicle. It'll have a belt tensioner, and so this one I'm going to use a breaker bar. It's got a 1/2 inch end to it, and you just pop it into the front side of your belt tensioner. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take, and you have to pull back on it. You're going to pull back and see how it loosened up the serpentine belt. You just pop it off. It's that easy. Okay, so before you go ahead and start taking out your old alternator, you want to double check to make sure that your connection points are the same right here, as well as your, because there's a quick disconnect here. So you got a terminal that actually pops in here, and then you also have your battery line coming into this. So you want to make sure that everything is correct, and that's what you're going to be looking at right there. The other thing too is a lot of auto parts stores, they'll actually test these for you. So if you bring them down, you'd have to take it off and then bring it in, and they can tell you if it is working properly or not, and it's a free service. So you could do that way, or if it's an old unit, just go ahead and replace it. So let's go ahead and take off your disconnect here, and then your battery cable itself. Take that off. Okay, now that we have our lines all disconnected, go ahead and start taking out your bolts. On this particular alternator, there's 2 on the bottom, and then there's 1 up on the top here. All alternators are going to be different, so it may be a different setup, but go ahead and find where it is bolted up, and just go ahead and take those bolts out, and then be careful if it's on the lower part of your motor, that it doesn't fall and hit you in the face or something. I mean, I've seen it happen, and but this one's really easy. Just take out your bolts there and the one in the back, and then this whole thing will just pop right out. Okay, so now we got the old one out, and here's our new one. And what you want to do is you just want to go ahead and double check everything on here. Make sure that where the serpentine belt rides, you want to make sure, count these grooves up, and then count these grooves up and make sure that they are exactly the same. The bad part about it is, and I just saw this now that I've taken this unit out, this has 8 grooves for the serpentine belt to ride on. This one only has 6 grooves to ride on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up taking off this pulley here. I'll put it onto this one, and we'll go ahead and just flip-flop them. It's not a huge deal, but everything else looks correct. So you want to just double check to make sure. You got a 3-pin system. That one's a 3-pin also. It's got the same connector, and you got the connector here, the connector here, and then you've got where your battery terminal is on both sides. So this one is the correct one. The only difference is the pulley itself. I'm going to have to pop them off and swap them over. But other than that, just go ahead and reinstall it. You can just go ahead and put the new one back in and just go in reverse order. You know, put it back down in, bolt it up, bolt it to the top here, reconnect your cables, and then hook up your serpentine belt. So just go ahead and once again, you're gonna have to pull back on the belt tensioner itself down here, and then you can lift up your serpentine belt and you can put it on top, you know, of your pulley. And then go ahead and install your battery cable back onto the battery terminal, and you're good to go. And so that is how easy it is to change out an alternator. So if you have any questions, shoot me a comment, hit the thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. I do a ton of videos on a weekly basis. So I'll see you on the next one.